Hi, I'm Lee at Iridium. Hope you're doing all right today. It's album review time. So we've got Spirits of Fire, Embrace the Unknown, coming out February the 18th on Frontiers. So if anyone doesn't know what this is Chris Caffrey of Savatage, his project or band if you like. And he's pulled some great names in on this band. So first of all, let's talk about the vocalist. Fabio Leone. Man, from the band Angra, I've really been impressed, obviously, with the two singles that were released initially, three now actually, with his vocals. What an amazing choice to have as a singer. I don't know a lot about him, hadn't heard much of Angra, but what a brilliant vocalist. Pours his heart and soul into every single lyric. Can really hit some heights. He's got emotion. One of these vocalists, like I said, that just gives everything. Every ounce of his body seems to go into every word he's singing. Amazing vocalist. Then you've got Steve DiGiorgio on the bass, Testament and Death. So you've got that heaviness, obviously, from the bass. And this is a heavy album, so he fits straight into this. This is not thrash, by the way, or extreme metal in any way, shape or form. This is pure heavy metal, traditional metal, if you like, with other sort of influences and stuff going on this album as well. Then you've got Mark Zonda on the drums, Fate's Warning. So obviously, you know, used to some real complex playing. But this, like I said, this is not a progressive album or anything like that, although there's certain little elements that I will get into. But this is, like I said, a straightforward metal album. And last but not least, Chris Caffrey. What an amazing guitarist. This is a pure guitar-driven metal album. The guitar tone that Chris Caffrey gets as well through this album, I've got to say, I'm really impressed with it. It's got a real punch to his guitar sound. It's got like a crispness and a real raw energy to it. I love the guitar tone on this album. It's something that really stood out to me straight away as soon as I heard it. This album was produced by Aldo Lenobile, who's produced quite a bit of stuff on Frontiers. Usually the stuff he produces has more of a sort of, maybe it's the bands that he produces, but a more sort of, I would say, more clear sort of sound. More, not overproduced, but I think the bands that he's produced before are not as raw, as energetic as Spirits of Fire are. They've got a sort of, like I said, a real raw energy about them. I think the that guitar tone from Chris Caffrey also helps that raw feel. Absolutely amazing production. I love it because it's got a real energy about it. This album's almost like, I mean, the bass guitarist and the drummer are fantastic, but it's almost like a battle between the singer and the guitarist. They're both real highlights of this album, although this is Chris Caffrey's album and he's exquisite on it. He's fantastic, you know, competing, if you like, with Fabio Leone. Man, what a great vocalist Chris Caffrey's got. They just mix it up so perfectly together. They sound brilliant. So who did this band sound like? I mean, they've had music out before. Tim Ripper Owens was in the band. Now it's Fabio Leone, as I said. Like I said, straightforward metal with real slight progressive elements. But it is traditional metal, if you like. Fans of Priest will like this. Maiden as well, I would say. But then you've got some Queensryche influence, I would say. So, I mean, people, when they talk about Queensryche, talk about them being a real progressive metal band. They're not. There's more straightforward metal with some little progressive elements. And this is what you get with this. And I think a lot of the Queensryche, for me, when I think of Queensryche, when I listen to some of these songs, it might be more vocally, the soaring vocals of Fabio Leone reminding me, you know, of Jeff Tate or Todd La Torre. And then, obviously, a real influence here, or it's going to be sort of carrying on from Chris Caffrey's band Savatage. There are some elements I can hear of influence of Savatage. You know, it's going to be with Chris being in the band, especially later on in the album, and I'll mention those tracks that I'm talking about, and they're probably some of my favourite tracks as well. So I'll do run through the tracks. I'll talk about my favourite tracks. So you got, kicking off the album, the single A Second Chance. Love this song straight away. That guitar tone is really crisp, it's really punchy, it's crunchy as anything. I absolutely love it. When you first hear the vocals, and obviously I did hear them on the single before, but you just realise what a great voice and what an addition to Spirits of Fire Fabio Leone is. Power, aggression, passionate, controlled vocals. This song sort of feels quite sort of traditional metal. It's got on this particular song, and songs do vary, but this one in particular does sound like that to me. It's a brilliant opener with a really, really technical solo as well, and the rawness, like I said, of that guitar and the tone. I just love it. Next track I want to talk about is Resurrection. An almost doomy, Sabbathy riff kicks this one off, and it's fucking heavy as well. We'll go into a sort of more traditional metal song after that doomy part with a brilliant sort of driving riff, and it is riff overload and brilliant for it as well. We get a brilliant solo on the halfway mark and another towards the end. So there's loads of soloing going on all the way through the album, but on this song as well. Fabio Leone's powerful soaring vocals top off another great highlight of this album. Next one I want to talk about is Wildest Dreams. The heaviness continues, but maybe a slight drop in pace on this one, like a medium pace song. A great chorus, sort of overlaid with a hooky guitar melody. Again, the order of the day is amazing guitar wizardry. Just amazing stuff from Chris Caffrey. Guitarists are going to fucking love this album. They really are. Next up we have Into the Mirror. This was another single. Great track where riffs come from all sides of this track. There's a great heavy metal groove to those verses, and it's backed up by an absolutely great soaring hooky chorus. You can check that out on YouTube anyway, that song Into the Mirror. It's absolutely fantastic. The next song I want to talk about is Sea of Change. Things slow down with this great track. This is where I can hear some Savatage in this song for sure. A great song that is epic in structure, with lots of light and shade, sort of brilliant, almost theatrical in nature. Fabio Leone delivers a great passionate vocal again. There's a lengthy and absolutely brilliant instrumental section towards the back end of the song before returning for that great chorus. Epic stuff indeed. The next one I want to talk about is Remember My Name. This is an acoustic guitar song with vocals. They start this sort of dark track. This has shades of Crimson Glory for me, and that's probably why I'm thinking of Queensryche, because of those influences as well. Those vocals from Fabio Leone, full of anguish and almost pain, brilliant. Caffrey's solo kills past the halfway mark. Slight criticism from me though, and it's just been me preferring this on this particular song. I wish the solo had kept acoustic. It's just the feel of the song, it sort of comes out of it a little bit with an electric guitar solo. It's almost like the Queensryche track, I Will Remember. Love the acoustic guitar solo in that. I almost feel like this has elements of that, and I wish that acoustic guitar was that instead of the electric guitar. But it's a slight criticism, if you like, something that I would have preferred. But the song is brilliant nonetheless. And the last song I want to talk about is Out in the Rain. Maybe my favourite track on the album. Again, Chris Caffrey's part in Savatage shines, obviously, in this track. Probably the most it does on the album, sounding like the Savatage influences. It's an epic, over 7 minutes long track full of light and shade again, orchestral parts and theatrics, the most progressive track on the album. Fabio Leone is just immense here, and for me, and this is not an exaggeration, I love his voice. I think next to John Oliver, he would be a great choice for a Savatage frontman, in my opinion. Just superb. I like John Oliver though. I don't want him to go anywhere. I heard they've got some new material coming out. But, you know, Fabio Leone would be a great vocalist also for Savatage. Utter brilliance right there on Out in the Rain. An absolutely fantastic track. You've got to hear it to believe it. This is a brilliant album, guys. An excellent metal album to kick off still the beginning of the year, if you like. February the 18th, this is coming out. Spirits of Fire, Embrace the Unknown. Totally recommended from me. I'll see you next time.